What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, a show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about idle champions and Dungeons and Dragons. And returning with me this week is Alicia Marie. Hello!
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. I'm purple and green today. I'm feeling myself. My
Yeah.
voice, I'm gonna apologize for my voice right now. It's still post San Diego scratchy, but just pretend it's on purpose.
I really want San Diego Scratchy to become a descriptor now.
Yeah. I feel like I should be like singing a song, but I won't because I don't want to scare viewers away this early in the show.
I love it. Alicia, if there's folks in the chat who don't know who are you for those fine folks who may not know?
Fine, folks. I am Alicia Marie, and you can find me on socials at Alicia Marie Body. I'm actually a professional costume artist and creator. I've been really lucky enough to create costumes, not only for myself, but for a lot of people in Hollywood and television stuff. But on the side, and actually not really the side, it's probably 50% of my time I'm playing D&D and other RPGs. So that's why I'm here. And I was lucky enough to get cast in a Familiar Quest 3.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a bit about that too. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yes.
I always like to start these shows off with a fun little icebreaker question. Last time I asked you how you got into D&D. This time I'm going to ask you, who was your first D&D character?
Oh my God. Oh God. This character is so it brings back so many memories for me because I don't know if you guys can remember your first game out there, you, Trevor, all you people watching. If you can remember your first game like that, like if you're a little nervous because you were new. I mean, some of you might have been kids when you started, but I wasn't a kid when I started playing D&D. I didn't start playing D&D until I had surgery on my hearings. I didn't start playing with other people. So when I created Scar, she's a half orc.
Ooh.
Yeah, she had a major scar. This way, I just wanted to have a really big, heavy weapon. And the DM who was like, "You are going to be playing this game," and I was like, "I don't know. I'm really nervous. I don't know if I could do it." And he's like, "It's a charity game. Just shut up and play." And I was like, I was so nervous. I remember being sick to my stomach for days before it. But he helped me sort of build her so I would feel comfortable with her. And it was level 6, so it wasn't that bad, but we still had a level 5. We still had all level 5 stuff like this. We could rage, reckless, extra attack, stuff like that. And it was probably the perfect character for me to start with because I got to use my accent, which is very she was sort of she was strong, but I got to use this very staid accent for her.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to cast spells using this accent. It was so much. This is what started my insanity.
That was it right there. That was the beginning.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've not played a half orc. And only because I think painting myself green was tough. And I did it too. I was green for that. I was green for that stream, and people were like, "Whoa!" And in that stream was like Joe Manganiello, Matthew Lillard, and Deborah Ann Wall. And so I was like this. I'm playing with people who have no idea what I'm doing here.
That's pretty intimidating for your first thing there. Yeah.
Like, I am the only person who means nothing in this group. Sorry.
That is not true at all. But I do get the thing about like just painting yourself is one of those things that I've never done, and I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna at some point, and it's gonna be an arduous task. Like I'm gonna be in something, I'm like, I'm playing a tiefling and I want to do cosplay of it. I'm like, I'm red now. And that's gonna be a lot of work. I can't imagine how that is.
Try it. Like, I mean, remember, if you ever want to do body paint, you can always reach out to me and I can give you some pointers that goes for anybody. I should actually do a skin painting tutorial because people often ask about my paint, my face, and I do it all with creams. But it isn't just putting flat color on my face. There are layers to making it look like I'm green, like I'm really and truly green. And the reason why it looks like that is because there's about 4 different layers on my face to create the hues and the differentiations that would exist in your skin if you were green or you were purple or you were like, I had a gnome that was light blue once for a game, and Blue. So my
Yeah.
bathroom was a mess.
I
Oh yeah, tragic.
I have seen I've seen some cosplayers post photos where it's just like the aftermath of a full body paint, and it's just a
Oh,
purple bathtub.
oh, it is. You literally say to yourself, like you start questioning your choices in this life. Like I just okay, this is where we are. I'm
That's
blue.
where we are. Yes.
Yeah. I have neighbors across the street, and they have two little kids who scream all day long. Trust me. But I'm surprised they're not screaming now. But they're so used to seeing me like going out to get the mail, purple or with horns or something. It's really scary. They're just used to it, and it's like the middle of April, and they're like, "Okay, she's a demon, mommy," and their mother's like, "Hi." It's just my neighbors are so used to it by now.
I'm now thinking about this kid's going to school and being like, yeah, well, the demon next door. Like that, those kids have absolutely said something that's concerned a teacher. Like,
Sure, because they're 4 and 5, so I'm sure they. I didn't even think of that.
oh my god, yeah, no, I can't imagine they've said some great things.
Hi, kids. Good morning.
Yeah.
I should play it up. No.
Yeah, you just walk out, just start walking out looking like different Disney villains, and they'll just scream.
I've never done that.
Ooh.
You know what? I've never considered myself like this is before like the merger and merger and merger.
Yes, yes.
Like now you like Disney, meaning you like means you like Star Wars, means you like Marvel, means you like everything. But before the merger upon mergers, I was never a Disney nerd.
Oh, yeah.
So my Disney cosplays are like limited to like I like none. I don't have any. I'm like, what have I done? Oh shoot, I don't have any. So I you just gave me I'm gonna have to do a villain.
Could
I'm
be
putting it on
fun.
my list.
Yeah, there we go.
That my list.
Well, while you do that
excites me.
I do want to talk a bit about familiar quests. We're now that season has wrapped up. How did things go?
Oh, it was so much fun. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I've played with Megan in charity games. I played with Brian, Kelly. I played with everybody in charity games before, but obviously never as a group. And I'd seen season 2 of a familiar quest, so I knew it was everyone playing their familiars. And I was like, "How's this gonna go? I wonder how it's gonna be." And you had DJ Jazz Hands. Eugenio he's an amazing DM.
He's so good.
He's very descriptive, and he's really physical. And I tend to think if I was ever going to DM in the future, that's the way I would be. I'd be very physical.
Yeah.
You walk into a volcano.
If you ever want to see like some really good ones of it, any of the Into the Motherlands ones that he ran, he's like when he started talking about space and like ships moving and like just going along, it's so he is a master of the art.
I love that's what you see if there's a DM school that he's teaching at. Because it's like adding, like, as a DM, Deborah and Wall. There's a lot of Deborah and Wall's good at this, like adding texture and making your players go. So Eugenia was very good at making us all go, huh? And that's like if your players are rendered like somewhat speechless for a minute, like, I don't know what to do, I'm scared. That means we're all immersed. And there were many moments during this series that our characters are really immersed. One of the things I loved was in the first 2 episodes when our characters were sort of getting to know each other and all of their personalities were emerging, and they were all so different. That's one of my favorite things about games in general, when you have a group of people and it's just when the chemistry flows. And I know I've spoken to a lot of my D&D friends about this, when you're at a table of great players but the chemistry's off. That can happen sometimes. You can be at a table of people who are all really good and really passionate about it, but the chemistry. But then you can be at a table where the chemistry is just there. And with this one, it was like just instant. And everyone had like their idea of what their character would sound like and act like and be in the situations and where they came from. And Eugenio just sort of weaved them together really well. And he allowed us to do things that could possibly like move the story in different directions.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can tell he was like, okay. And then you did it, you know.
Yeah. No,
That worked out,
absolutely.
yeah. It was
No, I
fun.
I know what you mean about the like I used to run games at a bookstore for kids and anyone else that just wanted to try D&D, and it was always wild seeing a random group of people, none of them have talked to each other before, sit down at a table and all just fall in sync. It's like you just step back as a DM, like, what is happening?
You're like, how I wish there was some sort of, I wish there was something that could be like that, how we could name the phenomenon.
Yeah, yeah.
So you could repeat it at every table. But it just, I don't know if it's everybody being into their character. I don't know if everybody has to.
I don't even think it has to be that. Like literally one of the times. This is one of my favorite ones. One of my friends came to it, so he's at the table. So I already know how he plays. Everyone else had never met each other before. And one dude literally sat, like, just walked into the bookstore, was looking around, was like, what's this? I'm like, do you want to learn how to play D&D? And he went, sure. And he just sat down at the table, and all these people just fully in sync. This dude was like rolling with like how role play goes. He'd never done it before. And I was like, this is one of the most wild things I have ever seen happen.
He just sat down and started playing.
Yeah, just sat down. Like everyone else was like helping him, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like your spells, this is gonna be how do you attack. So like they were helping him learn how to play while I was describing things for other players. It was wild. It was so cool to see it happen just on the fly.
That's kind of, yeah, that was also brave of him. Like,
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
I'm inspired by that for a minute.
He actually came back a few times too. Yeah, it was a really neat thing.
You created a new D&D like fan. You created a new RPG.
Let's be honest, that's my goal in life. Just anyone I meet, I'm like, you want to learn how to play D&D? Let's go.
No, I got, so my cousin, she travels with me to a lot of conventions just because, like, I mean, what we do is kind of interesting. It's kind of different, you know, and then you throw in cosplay stuff and it's like, what's this? So she sort of has been getting into things, and D&D, like, you know, really, I started playing more that's where I kind of started, like, right in 2019. Right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, and the pandemic just blew TTRPG into the stratosphere, I think. Because everyone was like, well, we're at home. What are we going to do? Let's go on Zoom. Throw it on Twitch. Let's go, you know. So she's been really, ew, someone's calling me. Get off.
Oh, I don't think there's ever been a truer reaction to getting a phone call. Ew.
I just yelled at whoever it was. I'm cochlear implants. So my phone, sometimes I forget to disconnect it from my ears. So if my phone starts ringing, it'll ring in my ears when I'm doing something important like this.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
rude.
She's yeah, exactly. You're rude. So she's now getting into D&D, and she bought like her first 2 sets of dice. She brought the player handbook, and she's going to her very first Gen Con this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Create more monsters.
Yeah. More monster slayers. There we go.
Yes.
Okay, so I told you ahead of time that I wanted to talk a bit about cosplay, because it is one of those things that I've been absolutely fascinated with and really haven't gotten a chance to like talk with someone about it. So I just kind of want to start at the beginning of it, which is like, how did you get into cosplay?
Okay, so I think probably some people who are watching this, they're probably like, oh my God, I'm so sick of her telling this
Well,
story.
I haven't heard it,
but
people,
you
so
haven't heard it. Exactly. I just did a series with IGN, like a whole docu-series, and they followed me through the build of a cosplay that I did for San Diego. So that was I did a full deep dive into who is this lunatic that calls herself Alicia Marie, So they got that. But okay, so I'm telling you, I've always been an artistic person, even when I was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know how everybody, or most everybody actually just haven't discovered it yet, but every person has something that they're just naturally good at.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, you're super confident with it. Like someone could say something, someone could say you suck, and you literally be like this, no, actually I don't. You just know, like nobody can break that. Nobody can break that. For me, growing up, it could be everything. But for some reason, art was never like you could literally say you're the worst artist I've ever seen in my life. Go kill yourself. Like whatever people want to say to me regarding anything on
Oof.
social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one thing I'm like, I got this. And it's a weird feeling because I don't feel that way in everything I do. But
Yeah.
with art, it just comes really easy. So yeah, so I used to, when I was younger, I would enter artistic contests and drawing contests and I would win. Then came costume contests every Halloween when I was little.
Oh.
Right? Like, let me go make this. And it was always things that were like sewn by hand, looking like garbage or glued together. But because of the general idea, like I would win usually.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always like, oh geez, thank you. So in between like work and college and then graduate studies, I still always made things here and there, whether they were like styled outfits, like it's weird that I never went to art school, and I think that's because generationally speaking, my parents were, art is not really a career choice. It's like, what if I had just stayed with who I was? Like, so if anyone's listening and you're like super young, like just stick with what your heart loves, because you will find the success in it as long as you work hard and stick with it. You'll be able to find it. Because look, I went through neuroscience, which is what my degree is in, all the way circled back to where I should have been from day one. Art. And this is where my career is in.
Heck yeah.
Yes. So I think so. In 2010, I moved from 2009. I moved from New York to California, and I got invited to San Diego Comic-Con because of some video game stuff I was doing. And I was like, well, I'm going to do one mega cosplay. And I did. This is the first time I went from like Halloween costume to like, I decided to bring next level reflective cape storm.
Oh,
oh yeah,
good choice.
Reflective. I had the white eyes. I had the hair flying, like everything. And I was going to enter the costume contest that Marvel has every year in San Diego. And like, I was really nervous. Like, oh God, I have the worst self-esteem. What's wrong with me? But I was like, oh, I'm going to be Storm. But fans love seeing stuff like San Diego Comic-Con it's literally for people who want to see people go hard with costumes. People were just like, and this is before cosplay was like big. It was still fringe a little bit. And people really responded to my storm. And then I got second place in the costume contest because Iron Man beat me. And let me tell you something, I don't blame him. That thing was hydraulics and lights, and it was I don't blame him.
Wow.
That was incredible. But that's where my love for it started. And I mean, after that, I was making things over, but the taking it to a professional level was when I realized that, there are things I want done that I can't describe to someone else to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just going to have to go to YouTube University and figure out how to do it myself. So I've watched so many, and I'm so thankful for people who put YouTube videos up on, working with different regions and glues and primers. And whenever I do panels at conventions about cosplay, I talk about how like 50% of what you do, especially when it comes to armor craft, is knowing what material works with what type of glue and how to use it. Because not everything, not even super glue works with everything. Not
super glue can destroy your entire thing.
Eat away at the project, and if it's liquid, it's gonna sink into the thing, and there's not gonna be nothing to stick the two pieces. There are some glues you have to put it on two sides and let it dry, and then stick it. There are some that it's just depending on what you're using, and then what you're putting it with. That will and there are like 7 different types of adhesive, so. It's trial and error and learning, but thankfully it's in an area I love, which is like artistic stuff. And I like bringing my favorite like characters and things like to life, like 3D, like getting to see, Kotal Khan as myself.
I going back to the even Lauren pointed out in the chat, the YouTube U thing, like I really cannot stress like how much that can help with the interest that you're looking for in chat. Like the reason I can edit podcasts is because of YouTube. Is because went there, I was like, how to this, and then some dude in like 2014 was like, here's how you do it. And I went, awesome. Like my friend, I have a friend right now that is wanting to get into voice acting, and I was like, I know you're gonna roll your eyes at this, but legitimately go look at YouTube videos. Like, there are people out there that talk about their process of doing this and everything, and it can help you find your own. It's so good.
So good. Like, and I have like my regulars I go back to, like there were Evil Ted. He used to make props like for movies and things. So he has great insight, like little things like when you buy Everfoam, which is what you make these costumes out of, so they're lightweight and they're flexible and you can use it for anything. He's the one who told me, he's like, when you get your foam, right when you get it, unroll it and leave it flat. So you have to find somewhere where you can leave your foam flat. Yeah. Big, massive sheets. But he's like, because when you actually have to finally use it, you're going to have to go through the heat curing process to flatten it out and then reheat it to shape it. And you don't want to have to double heat foam because you can burn it. So he's like, flatten it out. So then it starts easing itself out. So when you have to use it, it's already stretched. I was like, these are the things.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, I've looked into cosplay stuff and everything like that, and I never would have thought to do that if I was first time doing this. That's invaluable information.
Yeah, like little. So there, I mean, just along the way, there's so many of those that you just pick up as you learn to build. And this is, I mean, cosplay. It's partially fabric, the sewing part, which is usually what goes underneath all this armor. So I had to I actually went to school for fashion and costume design. So but this was later on. It was after I started making stuff, but I started doing things more professionally. There were certain skills I wanted to beef up on. So but YouTube was just as successful with helping me. It's just with the sewing machine, I wanted a teacher over me going,
oh yeah,
that's not a French seam.
I love it. Well, okay, so the process of making a cosplay, like what is your like, does it change every time you do a different outfit, or is there kind of a similar process for each one of them?
Yeah, okay, so they're yes to both.
Okay.
If it's an armor, like a costume that has any armored elements, which is basically mostly every like sort of cosplay these days. Because I actually said this when I was in San Diego. I was on a panel and I was like, it's like there's in the middle of the process of making something when you pick up the for the 20,000th time, you pick up the picture of the art of the characters you're creating, and you're like, oh my God, I cannot wait to find and get to finally meet the artist in person so I can punch them across the face.
Oh, that's funny.
Artist's job is not to make something wearable. Their job is to create this amazing render for the game, something that's epic. It's our job to figure out how to wear it.
Not one person that designed Cloud Strife ever thought about someone actually lifting a sword that size.
Right? They're not going, oh, well, maybe I'll just hold back a little bit. Yeah. Someone may try to put this on there. No. So it's our job to go, okay, how to make that look like it's levitating, how to make it look like... So with me, my process is it's always from the top down and from the bottom up. Oh. So what I mean is, I look at the character, I go, and this helps you also because fans, especially if you're someone who likes to share your artwork, they appreciate the details that go into things. So I will get the print out, full print, color print out, tape it on the wall, and I just stare at it. And I tell my, I'm like, I need time to stare at things. And I look at the hair first. Hair, eyes. Are there any markings on the face? Ears, do they have earrings on? Necklace, neck piece, shoulder.
And like as you're going through those, are you like earrings? You're like, material I could use for that. Like, is that all running through your head? Is it? That's so cool.
Immediately, like I look at the eye color. I'm like, necklace. I know what that is. Shoulders. I know what that is. Chest, waist. Okay, and then when you get all the way down, the waist, hips, belt, pins or anything. Like some people have scarves or capes that go over,
Mm-hmm.
go down, greaves, boots. Are there anything on the boots? And then after you're done with that, then move over to the weapon. What does the weapon do? And that's usually where I'm last. I'm usually do the weapon last. But for me, my favorite, I usually, and then in making it, when I mean from the bottom up, you look at the costume. Then after you go from head to toe, you look at the costume straight ahead and you say, what are they wearing underneath this? It looks like a wrap, unless like the game itself provides a cosplay layout.
Oh, I've seen studios do that, and I don't even do it, but I'm like, that's so cool that I appreciate that you're doing this for folks.
A lot of games have started to do that. Like after they release the game, they release like a cosplay flat lay, and and they even like give color codes sometimes, because usually I'm guessing, like I'm looking at the character going like, how did they get that green? How'd they get that green? Like with the character I just did in San Diego, I actually have the piece right here. I have one of the pieces.
Ooh, I love show and tell on the show.
No doubt. This was just
oh my god. Sorry, chat. I'm gonna get in here close. Wow.
So little things like trying to figure out, because in the game she is this blue and green mage, so our colors are all these like blues and greens, but trying to figure out like what that green is and figuring out how to achieve the green. And when you finally get it, you're like, it's gray underneath that green, it's not black, it's gray. Oh, it's a little bit of, like you keep going back and forth. Like underneath here is like 4 different colors,
Yeah. Wow. And the glowing piece in the middle, my god. Stunning work, Alicia.
Thank you. So, so that's how so from the bottom up is basically meaning like, starting with the clothes underneath and then coming outward, layers. So it's top down and then bottom up. And this costume was all of that.
I just put together, you were literally meaning you were designing in 3 dimensions. And like, I wouldn't have thought of that. I would have thought you were talking about like, okay, start at the boots and you go up. No, you're like layers. Again, the layers on the things. Wow.
Yeah. And, I always tell a lot of people, I'm like, do yourself a favor if you're building any armor, whether you're, old hat at it or you're just starting, always start with the toughest, most complex piece of the costume.
Oh,
always.
Really?
Always start with the piece that scares you the most, because by the end of the costume build, you will feel like picking the entire thing up, bringing it out to your driveway and backing over in your truck.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that.
You're like, everyone's gonna die. Hit the gas.
See, I do wish I could do that with my craft of writing. Instead, I'm sitting like, the gif from IT Crowd where Moss is just writing and looking over at the fire that's happening. That's me, where I'm like, I'm over here at this nice part. I know that part's going to be a problem down the road. I'm just not going to think about that for right now.
I'm gonna pretend it's not there.
Yeah. It's just like, that's future Trevor's problem. Future Trevor is better than me.
Absolutely. It's just the nature of the beast. And this is why, like, I mean, I love when I get to talk on panels and at conventions or anywhere, because I get to give like just life advice, like as far as cosplay goes. Like, you must love the character. If you're making the costume, if you're commissioning it, that's a different story, which you can do, that's fine. But if you're making it yourself, you must love that character, because there will be times during it when you're doing the grind part of figuring out, because this is one part of not just the glue, not just the paint, not just the how to make this levitate. It's how do I get into this costume?
Yeah.
If you're building it on a mannequin, and that doesn't move, that's different. But you're going to be moving, and maybe not sitting, maybe sitting, you're going to be walking.
Yeah.
The character in the game doesn't have to worry about certain physics.
Their armor will clip through whatever it wants.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there going, where's the seam on this costume? There's no seams, and you don't want to ruin the aesthetic. So like for me, so I'll show you this one. This particular, obviously this character has, I turn off the lights, whatever, but she has no seams anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So what I had to do was she has here
Oh, I love it. I love it.
a magnetic zigzag so that this can
Oh.
connect. And her side scarf hides the seam. The neck, I have something. There's another thing that goes over this, so that the thing from when I do the 360, there's no seam.
That's so cool. God, you have to be like a puzzle solver too. Wow.
Yeah, and it really does go back to the artwork, which is I remember when Mortal Kombat first started dropping their characters for Mortal Kombat 1, how excited I got because Mylena and Katana both have seams in their masks.
I know. I actually noticed that too. That was so cool. And I'm sure that's gonna help.
I was like, somebody was thinking about us. And then they dropped Mylena's mouth.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was like, there it is.
I'm gonna take a quick moment here to say that we are gonna be doing the giveaway here in a few moments. Chat. I saw a few people getting antsy. That's why I want to say it. Our awesome mod Jay is gonna drop the keyword into chat here in a little bit. Just put that keyword into chat. It'll enter you for a chance to win 42 chests of your choice, excluding Bahamut chests. Hope you get some good stuff. So keep an eye out in chat for that. If you're on another screen, now's your time to hop over. So we did get a few questions and we're gonna get to those, but I did want to talk a bit about Comic-Con and this IGN. Like, how did you got to do a thing with IGN about cosplay? That's so freaking cool.
Cool. It was the best experience. And I'm happy that I got to like really be in the moment and enjoy it. Because sometimes when people do events, like whether it be like weddings, you're so in your head.
Oh yeah.
You can't relax and enjoy it. But I told myself, I'm gonna be eating up every minute of this. So I have to be like have everything prepared. So I'm not stressing about anything. So like my entire costume was like double bolted. So nothing's gonna fall off.
Yeah.
Like this thing was battle tested. I was like, nothing's gonna break. Nothing's gonna fall off. I will not need the cosplay hospital at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
I actually had a friend who was one of those cosplay doctors that went around with the thread and everything.
A hospital. It's a walking hospital.
Yep.
It's so cute.
They were fantastic.
Because everybody's falling apart, and this is what happens. But if you battle test your costume, you can find out the weak points and you can reinforce them to death. And that's this costume. Whoo, nothing was coming up.
From the clips I saw of you from the IGN thing, like you looked like you could Mortal Kombat fight in that thing.
Oh, I was like, nothing is coming between me and greatness at this convention.
Yes.
So
heck yes.
So I had what I was going to do for San Diego Comic-Con planned out for weeks. This is what you do. Like I knew I was going to be doing this, and this, and I was going to go to the Hellfire Gala. I was going to do an Emma Frost design. Ooh. Me and my cousin were going to be like, because everybody goes all out for that event. It's a Saturday night of the convention, and it's produced in conjunction with D23. So we were really excited about it. And then like in June. Mid-June, I get an email.
Oh my God.
And I just like, hi, my name is Bridget. I was like, I wonder if you're going to San Diego Comic-Con. If you're not, would you like to? And I was like, yes, I'm going. Why? And they're like, we want to talk about something. So I agreed to a meeting, and that's where the whole idea was born. They're like, we had this idea, and do you think, is there any character you feel like you identify with? And I was like, yeah, the general, the one, the one. So then it was the other part of, can I do this? And, I had in between that, I was flying to, convention appearances in that. So I had about three weeks to do the costume while traveling every weekend to the convention.
Wow.
So, and this is what I say when I'm like, no matter how fast you are with costumes, you can't rush certain laws of physics. I can't make paint dry faster.
Yeah.
I can't. So there was definitely times when I was like, when you're making a costume, just in general, these patterns don't exist in nature. They're not like, it's not like you can find a pattern at Joann's for some of this stuff. So a lot of this is, You have to sort of make things up and figure it out. When you have a lot of time, you can make a mistake, scratch the whole thing, start all over again. When you have 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Oh my God.
For that whole costume, completing, like, I mean, they really went out. She has this, intricate braided hairstyle. I had to make a wig to do. The tiara, like the face markings. I didn't want to have to freehand those. So I had stencils I had made stencils for them. I was just aware of the fact the entire time I was making every piece that this has got to fit. It's got to work, or I am going to fall behind, in just in construction. And then from construction, I had a certain day I had to finish construction by, because I have to bring all of my stuff to East LA to paint it because of toxic chemical laws in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I bring everything, and then I bring it where these guys are there detailing their Corvettes and Lamborghinis. And I have a costume like, oh God, my mask on. It's funny, they all come running over. What are you doing? Because they want to see. But in the series, I got to like show a little bit of like my process and how I make it. But the gods of cosplay were just with me with this particular project, because everything, it could not have gone more how I wanted it to go. And then getting to meet the devs, like the people who came up with her like look, in person, live. Like I took on the live show for IGN, and like the funny thing is they didn't know I was going to be there because IGN wanted to surprise them.
Oh, that's so cool.
So they were like out there talking about the game drop, which is August 22nd, and they're talking about the characters and what they do. And then they're like, we'd like to bring out.
Oh my gosh.
They were like, oh, it was great.
One, I already was like losing it when I saw that you got to do something with IGN, because that's just amazing and fantastic. And I was so happy to see you get that kind of exposure. But like 3 weeks, like that is a testament to your skill. I mean, can you imagine like 2010 Alicia with the storm costume being told do this in 3 weeks? Like
there is, because there were things where on this I was looking at the art going, oh, I played myself. And I'm talking, there were definitely tears where I was like, I bit off more than I could chew. But I just, you have to take a deep breath. And then, like, of course, my husband is reminding me, he's like, every time you make a costume, you flip out. He's like, you will be fine. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Why do I take these things? I don't know what I'm doing. I probably should have put that in the video of me screaming, because that's like normal. That's normal. Like,
that is real. That's real with creativity. I have that with books. Trust me. Like, oh God, this world building.
During the interview, the IGN interviewer was like, so do you want to tell us a little bit about like the process? And I was like, no. He was like, oh, and I was like, I have PTSD. I'll tell you.
God, I hope that was Max Scoville.
Yes, it was.
It was it.
He was like, oh.
I used to follow all the IGN stuff. The only two people that I still know there now, like not know personally, but know of, is Max Scoville and Brian Altano. And so awesome. That's hilarious. That's so good.
Yeah. Man, I learned a lot, and because it all came together so well, I have a lot of things to be grateful for and have gratitude for. And when I think about the moments that I've had, like both in RPG and cosplay, like this definitely is, it's up there in one of like the best, where like, rarely, life is about knocking you down all the time. It's about knocking you down every time. And your job is to get up. I was going to swear there, but I didn't. Your job is to get TF up after you get knocked down every time, because life is about knockdowns. But sometimes, every now and again, I realize that life will give you a gift, and it's your job to, like, when everything just sort of lines up, like your internet not crapping out before my interview.
Oh, thank God. I did get one. Your internet is unstable while you were talking at one point. I was like, ah!
They're like, yeah, you got about 5 minutes before I'm dead, bro. No, every now and again, life gives you a gift, and when things align and everything comes together and you're surprised by it, and those are the moments when you have to be thankful.
Yeah.
You have to be thankful. And in this, I remember I allowed myself to be in the moment, and I was just really happy with everything. And I was like, thank you, gods of whatever I did
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, so it was definitely a great combination of like all the great cosplay projects and the people I've gotten to work with just in cosplay. It was a hobby, literally just like making things, and there were characters.
And look at you now.
You never know where life's gonna bring you.
Yeah. Yeah, chat, 100% go be sure to check out the IGN thing. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but I'm probably going to take some time after this episode and watch it. So but until then, let's get a few questions from chat that our awesome mod Jay's been grabbing. We're going to start off with Star Chaser 43. Hey, Star Chaser. Question, when you were approached to do Children of Erte, what was the strongest selling point that convinced you to do it?
Oh my gosh, the table. Like, I mean, we all have a bunch of projects. Like, we all have, streams we might do, charity games, but we also most of us have home games when we can get into them. I have 2 home games that I'm in. But look, I've been wanting, so I've played with Deborah before in different charity games, but I've been wanting to play with Lauren Urban for the longest time because we've known each other forever on the internet, just in D&D. And a dream with Jennifer Kretschmer, getting to play with Hope Lavelle, getting to play with like Adam.
Yeah.
When Adam approached me, and then he said, "Oh, and Deborah's the DM." I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
sold."
If I ever got approached for something and they said Deborah Ann Wall is DMing, I'm like, I don't even care what the rest of what you have to say as I'm there.
This is what I'm saying. Like, when we talk about like, aspiring to be a certain type of DM, like all the DMs are different that I've worked with. But she's like, in their difference, they're like amazing. Like her like ability to really bring that theater of the mind like outward. So you really imagine yourself like standing in front of an ice pick monster. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
You never thought you'd be perfectly imagining that, but thanks to Deborah Ann Wall.
Thanks, Deb. You take 436 points of fire damage from the ice monster.
Yeah. When Deborah Ann Wall says that, you say thank you, Deb.
Thank you, Deb.
So good. So good. Okay, let's see here. The next question, comes from C&E Games. Hey, C&E Games. What is your preferred material when it comes to making armor, and which armor build are you most proud of?
Oh God, there's so many. That's really hard to say because I'm standing around some of the ones that I really love. I mean, I have Koto Khan from Mortal Kombat. I'd wanted to do that for like 8 years. So finally getting to build that because he's colorful and like interesting, and like his design has that sort of Incan references, which I loved. And also he's such a big, he's a big hero. I like big heroes, even though he's not meta. He's big. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Now, and of course, getting to make General Kirkin was awesome because it taught me different modalities and stuff. But I also loved the Blade costume that I made for Midnight Suns for Michael Jai White to play Blade. That was fun. And also, I mean, it was the first time I made a costume for a male body.
Oh, really?
Muscular male body. So that one was her entirely different process because, as you can see, my mannequins are all female. I made costumes for Jamie Lee Curtis and Megan Thee Stallion female bodies this way. Yeah. So I actually had him professionally scanned into a computer.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. He could scan his whole body. Like I had him stand in underwear and I had my friend come over. My friend scanned him into my computer. We uploaded him. And then we into like a 3D sort of thing. And then we printed out a life-size mannequin of him.
Whoa, that's cool.
So I built the costume on a life-size mannequin of Michael Jai White, but it had to be a bit bigger so the costume would fit him. So I made the mannequin a bit bigger so the costume would be bigger on him so we could get into it. And then it fit perfectly that way. But so that was my thing. But my favorite material for for armor will be foam, only because it's so lightweight and you can do a lot with it.
That's one of the things that I've always thought about, like, anytime I look at it, because like you hear like on movie sets and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, that bat suit that Val Kilmer was in was 60 pounds, and I'm like, it's a lot everywhere. And so like
they suffer. And I mean, Jerry Ryan talks about her 7 of 9 costume and the bruises she had. And then when she was the Borg, she had the Borg costume. She said they didn't account for the prosthetics underneath the costume. When the costumers made the costume, they didn't account for it. So the costume choked her out constantly. She said at one point, she's like, I have to take this off. It's pressing against my windpipe. So that's why whenever I suffer in my cosplays, like I'm like, well, you do. They're not meant for human bodies.
It's true. It's true. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. The lurking writer says, question, do you have a favorite costume you've designed? What are your favorite parts of the overall process?
Ooh, I love these questions. They're
good ones, yeah.
Yeah. After every costume, I always have a favorite part. Like I will say, like this costume was Hannah Stone she's like a hunter in the video game Wanted Dead. Okay. I like her sort of the arm because it's hinged and like I could actually use it. And I got she's sort of like a cool, like badass character. So that was fun with the General Kirk and cosplay. I really liked making that bullet vest looking thing. Because it required 3 different patterns of its own just to make this thing. And it goes like this was 3 different hooked patterns that had to come together perfectly to do that. And then how long it took to form the foam to make those little like notches in it. So it tends to be the pieces that give me the most trouble, the ones that I want to back over in my driveway with my truck, end up being my favorite pieces of the costume. Yeah. And what was the second part of the question?
Oh, the first was do you have a favorite costume you've designed?
Oof.
This is the tough one. This is the picking your favorite child one.
Yeah, it's like and it's always the latest one I did.
Yeah.
Tends to be, so it's gonna be Kirkin, and I'll tell you why. There were just different cosplay skills that went into it. So it was armor. I had to sew things. I had to sculpt things. I like with clay. I use foam clay, FOMO.
Oh,
it's foam clay. It's literally like Eva foam in a clay form, and you can let it dry. And when it dries, you can sand it and paint it, add water, smooth it. Yeah, it just has a really short shelf life, but FOMO is really cool. So I liked because I have like I said, it was fabric, and I got to pick like really cool like fabrics to work with to make the parts that go under the costume. And I just learned a lot about myself in that one. So I'm gonna say that one right now.
I think that's totally fair. I mean, I already said like that is a testament to the skill that you have now because you did it so quickly. But the fact that it's got like all those other like the other skills in it, like there's so many of them in there. I totally get that. Yeah. I because that's the thing when it comes to creativity, when you get to do something where it's like, oh, I get to use a bunch of the skills I've accrued at once. That's when you're like, okay, now we're cooking with oil. We got this.
You're like, this is what I've been waiting for my entire life. It's my time to shine. You know?
Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, Alicia, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. We've somehow gone through 50 minutes. And it was, I'm not kidding. I didn't even get through half the questions I had. Because I was just like, you were talking about cosplay. I'm like, I'm here to listen. And that is all I want to hear right now.
They didn't warn you that I was a talker.
At least we've talked before. I knew, but still, I've got ones for next time. Oh no, my video froze. Oh no, I'm back. Yay. Okay. God, when did that just like the last minute? It just went out. Okay, Alicia. If folks want to find you and what you do on the interwebs, where could they do so?
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing a bunch of, I always have what I consider somewhat interesting projects going on. So you can find me on socials at Alicia Marie Body. And I'm IG, I'm TikTok sometimes, but IG is where I tell people to really go for where you can find me. Otherwise it's Threads. I guess Twitter a little.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is such a loaded question right now that for guests that I don't know what a good option is for it, because I'm like, it's like, what dystopian site are you on right now? Where is your anxiety coming from recently?
You're a mess. But you're right. Where is it? So I usually say Instagram, because Instagram tends to be like the portfolio because of stories and reels and then all different parts of it. But I'm working on some really cool stuff. Specifically, I'm going to Gen Con. If anyone's going to Gen Con, I will be at the Modiphius booth dressed as a Spear character from their Dreams and Machines new game. So this is part of the costume, like right behind me with the pink collar. I'll be wearing that this weekend. So, and the game drops, literally, the RPG drops. You can get it for the first time at Gen Con at the Modiphius booth. So yeah, it's really, you like post-apocalyptic. I think the word they use is hope punk.
Hope punk.
Hope punk, yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into this now. You have intrigued me.
Are you going to Gen Con?
I'm not, unfortunately. Maybe next year.
Okay.
I'm sorry. But yeah. Be sure to find Alicia at all those places, and be sure to go check out the IGN video with her right now. It is up on their YouTube channel. But yeah, again, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. That is going to do it for this week's episode of Idle Insight. So until next week, take care of yourself.